is up, everybody? Welcome to, for now, the farewell edition of Talking Elite Fitness as we go on our indefinite break. And I'm Sean Woodland, joined as always by Tommy Marquez and Lauren Khalil. But we figured we'd throw this back to we're going to end where we started. And we're bringing in our good friends, Heber Cannon and Marston Sawyers. How you guys doing?
Awesome. Doing great.
Awesome, man. Happy to be the bookend. You know, everybody appreciates a good bookend.
Yeah, because for those of you that don't know, it's like 7.5 years ago, we started this thing in Mars's kitchen. And recorded the first episode twice. And so that was it. And we're like, you know what are we going to do here to kind of send this thing into sort of our indefinite break? And it's like, let's get Mars and Heber. We got to. So I think like the thing I really wanted to talk to you guys about that I'm really interested is that you have made a career of kind of just like pivoting and surviving and continuing to make great content in the process. So like, where are you now in your whole sort of evolution of your brand? Because it started as a mostly CrossFit centric thing. And now it seems like you have branched out. So give me the sort of like just the state of the Buttery Bros right now.
Well, we always I've heard that a little bit, but some of our first most successful episodes that we have were kind of based in CrossFit, but then we would have like one of the first episodes that really popped off was helicopter razors and a pump sesh with Steve Cook, where we ended up going to the Iron Games. Tommy's in this episode, and we flew helicopters, we rode razors, and we were doing things always outside of the gym. And from the beginning, like some of my favorite stuff we would do is like we would go to Miami to do an open announcement for 19.5, but I would schedule an hour and a half break where we would sneak away, get on jet skis for 45 minutes, and then bolt back to be on the open announcement to cover that as well. So I've always described the show as adventure tourism with the foundation of fitness and built CrossFit. Like we're not giving up those roots. That's kind of who we are. Like today we went and did a CrossFit workout today, and but we're training for things outside of that, and we're trying to tell a broader story of fitness. And we have 1 out of every 3 shows probably features a big CrossFit athlete, if not more than that, at a minimum, while also expanding into, we've done Ironmans, we've done bodybuilding, we've done strongman. We're currently training for some endurance events coming up this summer that are going to be really fun. But, if I'm training for rim to rim to rim, which is a 44-mile across the journey across the Grand Canyon, there's going to be some unknowns and unknowables that come up during that, and you got to be ready for that. And there's nothing better to train for that than CrossFit. So, I wouldn't say we've ever said goodbye to that, but we've definitely welcomed some new avenues of storytelling and adventures that we can find ourselves in.
Yeah. And what comes first then? Is it the chicken or the egg? Because obviously we know you guys are both super sneaky fit. So do you guys find an event or a sport that seems interesting that you want to train for? Or do you find the person of interest or the story first? What's the process?
I think it's a combination of both of those because, I mean, as we know, the fitness space has evolved a ton. And with that evolution, there's been like a lot of new things that have popped up. But then there's other things that like I wouldn't have necessarily thought to go do that have presented themselves. I'm like, you guys want to go do this crazy thing? And so we hop on the opportunity train to go wreck ourselves with some sort of crazy fitness feat. But, I think that there's been, a lot of different things that we've been doing as of, the past year and a half to 2 years. Like Heber has been getting into a lot more like long endurance and Ironman and stuff like that. And I've really enjoyed some of the stuff we've got to do. Like we did a soapbox race last year here in Salt Lake, and there was like 50,000 people. I was like, I had no idea that there was so many fans of soapbox racing. And then, other things that have come up that have been like, I went and got my hair transplant in Colombia. So it was just like, I think that people would appreciate the honesty and like see the experience and get to like follow along with us. Cause like we've built our audience over the course of, 7 years doing Buttery Bros, but then almost close to a decade of doing CrossFit media back when we were in Santa Cruz with all you guys. But I think that there's a lot of things that have just kind of like popped up, and you know, if me and Heber like brainstorm stuff, or like, would this make a good video? How could we tell this story? Like, what's the best way to kind of like break this down? And I think that, you know, like I'm always like a little bit nervous going into shoots because I'm always like, are we thinking about the story? Are we producing this the best way? And then we get back and then I see the edit and it's always like, man, this is so much fun. I'm so glad we went and did this crazy wild thing. So,
and I guess, where does shaving a man's chest into an arrow fit into the adventure racing? Because if we're talking about the first one that pops off, I believe that episode involved Marston with a manscaper doing some work. Right here. Yeah.
First thing I learned, you know, if you want to go fast, you got to get rid of your body hair. You know?
Exactly. Aerodynamic.
Doesn't work. Yeah, I've gotten slower.
And how's the hairline looking, Mars? You got the work done. I want to give credit.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I just got done with the gym a little bit ago, but yeah, I mean, you should have seen me. You should have seen me before, bro.
Yeah.
And you're a dad now with that head of hair.
We'll go back.
I am a dad.
And find some old footage of Marston, and I'm like, oh man, 2022, my boy was combing quite a bit.
Dude, I was growing this long so I could just flop it over on that side. I was like, nobody will notice.
I mean,
I still remember the Dutch boy that you used to have.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that was way better.
Like the U.S. Open with all those sand traps, you know.
I was like, yeah, I think it's thinning a little. Yeah. And then O'Keefe was like, dude, bro, you're going bald. And I was like, really? And then I like started like, you know, peeling back the straps and noticing. And then it was like the opportunity presented itself to go to Columbia to be able to do that. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to like tell everybody. This seems kind of scary to be that vulnerable. But then after I like leaned into it and, you know, people were reaching out being like, hey, I've considered doing that myself. What was that like? And then I was kind of like, yeah, you should, you know, I'm elevated because I did this. You know, I don't know.
Mars, you mentioned something that I actually wanted to ask you about, and that is you guys have done so many things and so many different features. What is something that sticks out in your mind where you're like, there is no way this is going to work? And then it turned out like amazing.
I mean, there's been a few where we've gone into it and I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like one of them, like, I didn't want to do this. Like, who'd want to do this? Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, let's go to Death Valley and run a marathon on the hottest day of the year. And I was like, I'm out. Yeah. I was like, if you guys want to do that, I'll film it from the car. I'll be your hydration station. So I didn't know, you know, it's like you're putting yourself into these crazy circumstances with it just so happened to be the hottest day ever recorded in the history of them.
What was it?
Recording. It was 136 degrees when we were out there.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I was like,
actually not die.
We got close.
I mean, they got close and Tyson was like really close. He was the closest one. And like, it was hard just to film it because I'd be like, I'm going to put up the drone and the drone would go up and I'd be like, oh, it's overheating. It's like that. Like, I'm not putting up the drone. Like everything was overheating. Like the car, like the air conditioning stopped working. It was just like, God. People shouldn't be in that shit. But we were like, yeah, you know, I think there's a good story to be made. Like Heber did that when he was a kid. And yeah, let's go run a marathon in that. That's a good example of not knowing how it. Yeah.
Kind of crazy to imagine where, you know, the contrast between that and where things started. I mean, obviously with this episode, we've been kind of going a little bit down memory lane. I actually sent a link to Lauren and Sean of our first episode, which originally you guys were on. And then we actually re-recorded it because we got done with it. And it was like this big trauma dump. And all of us were like, we can't post that.
Yeah,
we gotta get rid of it.
That was aggressive.
And we re-recorded it like the next day in Marston's kitchen. You can actually hear Riggs in the background. And then we recorded a Wadapalooza preview because we had just gotten back from Dubai. But it's kind of crazy. I want to know if you've had the time to reflect on those early days where like the Buttery Bros were kind of born and what really stands out about that time to you guys that you're really proud of.
Back when we started this, it was just kind of like uncertain times. Like we had just got let go from CrossFit. I didn't know what we were going to do next. I was talking to Heber. I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, I think we should like put our heads together and stick this thing out and try and make a business out of it. But it was still very much unknown. I was going through a divorce at the time. So I was just like, suck it up, buddy. Be on camera and be friendly and fun. And so there was just like a lot of like, put it together. And, so we ended up moving states and like going from like working this job, not having the job, moving states, being in a different state, trying to like start a business, trying to like figure it all out. It was just like, I'm going to put my head down and work so hard because I don't have an alternative. I was just like, I feel like if we really put our heads together, that something good will come out of it. And, it took some time, but then, I remember about 8 months went by and it was kind of like, oh, this thing's kind of working. And we're able to like go out and shoot content and do things that we are like passionate about and work with people that we care about and our friends. And like Tommy used to come on a lot of those trips early on. And so, I mean, it's come a long way. I've grown a ton and I've done a lot of like things that I would have never probably done without the show being like, hey, some good content to be made, like so.
Yeah. How do you guys, you mentioned those early days and God, you were a different person. I mean, we all were. And, now Mars, you're a father. Hebes, you've been a father, since we started, but
OG,
how is that? Like, how have those life changes affected the way that you produce or that you approach creating content and making stories?
I think having kids has always been sort of a tool to navigate what kind of content and the type of person that I am portrayed as online. Like, yeah, we do some wild stuff, but for the most part, all of our content is family friendly. We've only had one flagged episode on the Buttery Bros show for YouTube fiction. And we can jump back to that.
Yeah, what happened?
Let's dive into it. It was Marston getting a hair transplant, and it's not the reason you would think that it got flagged because
it's such a shame. It was such a
hair out. It's super gory, and it's bloody, and we get kind of up close. But I think we blur some of that, right, Mars?
Yeah, I didn't want to gross people out.
And then at the end of the episode, obviously there's pancakes throughout. It's kind of a theme on the Buttery Bros show, and we go and we rate some, and we found some. I don't know how to describe it appropriately, but
I'll tell you what it was. I was like, anybody want to have a dick waffle? Like this place had dick waffles, okay? And I was like, this seems like perfect content. This is right down the middle. We eat pancakes. This is a waffle shaped like a dick. Let's do it.
That's a great insult. I'm going to start calling
apparently YouTube doesn't like that.
They offered too. There was other shapes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of all the things on the internet, that's what got flagged.
That's what got it?
Yeah. And I kept looking. I'm like, why are they flagging this? And it kept saying like, phallic items and all this. I was like, that's not in here. What are we talking about? I couldn't figure it out. And then finally it was like
afterthought to the episode too. Like we shot it on our iPhone. Like it wasn't. You could probably.
I thought it would be the perfect. Yeah, I probably could now, but I thought it would be like the perfect way to like roll out of this like really, kind of gory situation to eat a delicious dick waffle.
It's a gigantic bready wiener.
I'm honestly going to start calling like stop being such a dick waffle.
Yeah.
Dick waffle.
Great insult.
I love it. Use it 3 times. It's mine. That's good stuff.
Oh man. But Heaps, you were saying about like the fatherhood as a tool.
Yeah. So I try to make something because my kids are now at an age where they like to sit down and watch YouTube, and I want them to find creators on that platform that I'm comfortable with them watching and mimicking in their own lives. And I want my show to be something that they can watch, or people with that are in similar situations can sit down and watch. And then the other factor that really fatherhood has done for me is value and time. I've always looked at this as not just a way to create content, but to build a life where I'm doing fun things. Like I want to have a really awesome life resume and be able to look back and document fun adventures. And so what better way to do those adventures than to bring them along? So when I can, if they can come and do, if they're there when I'm doing an Ironman, that makes it way more special. Or in January, my youngest son trained for a marathon, and having him go out and do that and documenting that as part of the show, like that's not just cool for me. I think other people can enjoy it. But what I'm excited about is in 20 years from now, he can show his kids, this is what he was doing at 9 years old, and inspire a new generation through that. And so it's selfishly documenting fun things that we are doing to have the most fun life possible.
Yeah.
It's the modern day scrapbook is really what it is.
Yeah, we're just scrapbooking. We're all ladies.
What are the
your kid run a marathon yet?
Oh man, I mean, he's going upstairs, so 26.2 ain't far off.
How old is he now?
Yeah.
He's almost 9 months, so he's almost been out as long as he's in.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Are you going to do your before and after 9 months in, 9 months out pick?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're going to set that up.
What stories you guys find most interesting now? Like, what do you tend to see yourselves kind of gravitating towards?
I mean, just the stuff that we have like coming up. There's a big one, rim to rim to rim, which is like a 46 mile excursion you go down into the Grand Canyon and come out the other side just to say like, shit, we should go back. And that's something that's been like, I've never gone that far. I've done a marathon, and I was like, I got my ass kicked in the marathon. So I was like, yeah, let's up the stakes here. So these guys, like Heber has been training like endurance for a hot minute now, but the stuff, another thing that we have coming up, we're going to Japan to do the Red Bull 400, which is like where you run up the ski jump.
Mm-hmm.
So that type of stuff just sounds like cool life experiences. Like if somebody's like, do you want to go do the Grand Canyon with all your homies? I'll be like, yeah, but then like, do you want to run up this ski jump and like go to Japan to do that? I was like, of course I want to go do that. Like, let's make cool content out of that. Like, I think that our background is fitness and CrossFit and all that, but because of like, there's so many cool things that keep coming out and new ways to like go out and train or make content around certain things. I think it's become, there's just like a lot of opportunities right now for that type of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I've always seen the gym as an incubator to the real world. Right. So and that comes with the experiences. We all know, so I'm getting a call on my computer. We all get that shared suffering experience when we do a group workout, like we get together and do a class, or it's Murph. Doing that marathon in Death Valley, that was one of the funnest shared suffering moments I've had, not only with the two guys running it with me, but with the Mars and Jules and Steph who were there documenting it. And same thing with this Grand Canyon experience, or I'm also going to be doing the Leadville 100 race this summer.
Sure.
Those type of things are like, you suffer so much, but you experience the world in such a different way. Like, it's not about you become a different person as you're training for that. And then you also become a different person on the other side of those things. And that's what, to me, that's what I'm chasing. That's what I'm excited about for my own personal things. And then along the way, finding other stories that mimic that and reflect it that other people are doing, or fun experiences like the Red Bull 400.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then also, go ahead. I was just saying how we've kind of evolved with like the way we've told stories, because obviously we started with CrossFit, and it was like, you kind of got to know what CrossFit is, and kind of got to know what the athletes are and what the stakes are, and like what all these movements and this lingo and this vocabulary. But then like we were trying to think like, well, what could we do on YouTube that would be like much more simple than that, where you don't need to know like any of the backstory or any of the stakes or anything. And so we've been doing these like 30-day challenges where you do like 200 push-ups a day for 30 days. And then we show our progress throughout. And then at the end of the video, you're trying to like set a PR from day 1 to day 30. So we've done that with like push-ups, because everybody knows what a push-up is. And so I think that like, it's a much wider net that you can cast to like the whole platform of YouTube versus like, do you know what Fran is? And that seems like pretty narrow, like still cool, but there's probably like just infinite numbers of people that know push-ups, squats. We just did a 30-day running challenge where we all set PRs for our mile. And so figuring out ways that are more approachable to a mass audience too, just to trying to grow on that platform, which is really hard. But that's just kind of the ways that we're like thinking a little bit outside the box from our typical normal content.
What'd you guys hit on the mile?
I was a 5.
What?
54.
Oh, that's easily there.
Yeah.
I was 6'10" on that.
Nice.
And the big boy, the big back community, 548 for Julian.
Oh, nice.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Dang, he's really fit too.
I'm gonna have to do that. My goal by the end of my 40th year is to get back under 5. So
under 5. Do you think you can go under 6 right now?
Lauren, what did we do? What did I do cold at Fort Worth?
Yeah.
We ran the mile.
I think it was under.
I want to say I was like 540.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
And that was no warm up, no stretching. I think all we had was like some kind of gummies before Sour Patch Kids or something. Not those gummies.
I was like, oh,
that would have been an interesting run.
So one of the reasons I actually wanted to have you guys back on is because, as Tommy mentioned, the first time we sat down to record it, we had all just been let go. We were in a really weird space with the sport. Everything was up in the air. And it kind of like feels eerily similar right now. I mean, I know there is like, we've got the semifinals going on right now in the games, but it does seem to be like a year to year type thing. And I'm interested to be like, where are you on like the optimism meter? Is it like if 10 were being like super optimistic and 0 is being like, I have no faith that this is going to work, and you don't have to put a number to it, but like, just what do you think about where we are right now, like from the CrossFit perspective as a sport? Because I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that I have an answer for that because, look, when we were let go, I knew the community's really strong. The affiliates, like you go to a CrossFit affiliate. So after 2024, after the games, I was super in a weird place with the whole thing. Yeah. And it took me a few months. And it took me till Christmas time. Around Christmas time, I said, okay, I'm going to go do as many 12 days of Christmas workouts as I can in different affiliates. Because A, I hate that workout. So I felt like it would get me out of a rut because they're always poorly programmed and over-programmed. And B, it's an event where people get together at their box. So you see the maximum amount of people. And when I went to those different gyms, no one in the gym was talking about what's going on at HQ. No one cares. They're all just doing their workout and trying to get in and have an awesome time and have a community. And so a lot of us at the forefront of the media side or within the community that sort of have little leadership roles, if you want to call it that, get caught up in this like internal drama about what's going on in HQ and what's going on with the media and what's going on with the sport. 95% of the people in the gym don't care about that. They just want to have a fun workout. And that's, I was drawn into the sport of CrossFit. I was drawn into CrossFit because of two things. One, I loved the energy and vibe and the message of work capacity across broad time and modal domains. Like that hit and resonated with me very well. And then the shared suffering aspect, I really also loved. I love that community thing where I go in and as a 25-year-old at the time and working out next to this 45-year-old lady that's kicking my butt. And I'm like, man, how do I learn to do a kipping pull-up? Because hers look way faster than mine. And I just look like I'm swinging on this bar. So now I've got to learn this new skill. And then the other element that really attracted me to it was like, if I want to be like a superhero in the real world, this is how you would train for it. Like I want to become a weapon as a human being that's harder to kill. And I love that, all of that stuff that happens in the gym. I don't think any of that's going away, regardless of what HQ is doing. Yeah. And when we started, so back to what I was saying at the beginning of this, when we started Buttery Bros, I recognized like, hey, we were just fired. I dedicated my heart and soul for almost a decade to this company. And I was rewarded with, hey, get out the door. And I sacrificed a ton, more than anyone will probably ever know. And that's okay. I'm fine with that decision. But I'm not going to let my life be affected any more than it needs to be by something that is outside the circle of my control. Yeah. And what's happening there is completely outside the circle of my control. So as much as I want to worry about it, and I see some of the things that are going on that kind of make me question some of the decisions that are being made, I try to be, if I find myself getting caught up in it, I go hang out with my kids. I go watch them do parkour and try and learn how to do a front flip again onto the couch in our living room, live. And then when I go to the gym, I'm just trying to suffer and have a great workout and be a part and rebuild that community from within, as opposed to trying to fight what is out of my control. I think there's a lot. We definitely have opinions on what's going on with HQ, but I can't, if me saying anything doesn't help or hurt, maybe it hurts. I don't know that it's going to help that situation. And so if they want my opinion and they want to have a conversation, I'm happy to give it to them. But for me, and Mars might have a different opinion, if I want that community to grow and be cultivated, I got to go to my local box and work out with people. And if I go to events, I'm bringing a positive message and a positive vibe and energy. And so that's where I currently stand.
No, I think that's a great way to look at it. I really do. Yeah.
Mars, your retort.
I concur.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you go back 10 years and then you look to where we are now, it's I don't think we would get there, because it just seemed like a rocket ship. But, I don't know what it was, mismanagement, wrong decisions made. I don't know, but it seems like it's, there's definitely an audience out there for it. I just think that the stories haven't been as intriguing, or people haven't latched onto them like the way that they used to. But there's also just a ton of competitors. When CrossFit was on the scene and when it was crushing, there wasn't High Rocks, there wasn't Athics, there wasn't all these races. So now it's just the current, economy of fitness is just, there's so many more options. As far as group fitness goes, there's, on every corner, there's a new thing. I got a Barry's down the street from my house. And I mean, it's okay, but there's a lot of those options for just people, So I think that with any sport, I think there's big ebbs and flows, and it'll be interesting to see if they can recapture that market. But as of right now, I feel like High Rocks is taking that entire fan base and really bringing them on board. And we'll see what happens. But I love the CrossFit community. I love the people. You guys are all my friend. We're still here doing this thing, and we've just tried to evolve and do other things that are outside of that, while still peeking back in, being wow.
Yeah. That's a well put by both of you. I got another one, but I'm going to give someone else a chance to jump in here.
Yeah. And this is kind of for all of you guys, since you all worked at CrossFit HQ together, and it's really hard to play the what if game. And if you could go back in time, but if nobody on the media team was fired back in 2019, where do the four of you think you would be right now? Do you guys think you would still be working for CrossFit HQ? Do you think inevitably you all would have gone off and done your own things? Have you ever, at least recently, I'm sure at the beginning you thought about this a lot, but have you recently thought of, where would your life be right now if 2019 never happened?
Yeah. That's a really interesting question.
That is a wild question, especially just because it sucked for a lot of people at the time, but I'm gosh, I'm really glad with where I'm at now, but it was so cushy. It was like a boys club, it was well, I got nowhere to be. I'll stay here and hang out with these homies. We'll work out. We were playing spike ball at noon, Friday half day,
I mean, honestly,
massage once a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We get some body work done. I mean, really above everything else, Sean and I have had this conversation too. One of the things we missed the camaraderie, some of that shared suffering element that we got in a different way that was in, was built in the wild regional weekends and post-game production stuff, and the sleeping at the office, or the Monday, the Monster Mash Mondays, where we'd all go down and just like bury ourselves just to say I got you this week,
Yeah.
all
Not
those
a barbell in sight.
I mean, that was like, in many ways, that was like our kind of group therapy. Just at the, it's just, we also got to do work and get paid for it at the same time, which was nice. And I don't know. I actually, it would really depend on, I guess, the next year. My thought is that if 2019 didn't happen, 2018, maybe the CrossFit boom keeps going a little bit and there's some network stuff going on. That's really the one thing that I think about, is like, where would the network presence be?
Yeah,
the media.
I think that it had given I was not planning on leaving there. I mean, I remember telling Tony Budding very early on when I got hired, I was like, listen, I mean, I was, what was I, 38 at the time, 39, 38?
Oh, you were in your 30s?
Yeah.
You were 30?
I got 2013. I was
We're 30.
Yeah, I was 20. I was 29, 39. I was 39. When I got hired, I was like 38 when I got hired. So like a month before my 39th birthday. And I told him, I was like, listen, man, this is it. I don't want another job. Like, I want to know there's some longevity here. Yeah. And he was like, well, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think there was that. And it's like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And I think it would look a lot different now. I mean, I think there's still like,
9 months later.
What was that?
Got to 9 months later. And
I know, right? See ya. I was like, yeah. But I think it would look a lot different. I think that, you can still make the case that CrossFit needs to have a bigger media presence. Now it would be different than what it was then, because as you guys have been saying, it's a much different ecosystem. But I still think that there is like, I have unfinished business there. And if there were an opportunity to get back involved, like, I'd seriously consider it, just because I feel like there was a lot of meat left on that bone. We'd have to attack it a lot differently now than we did then, but I still think there's a need for self-produced media and telling your own story and telling your brand story. But I think it would look a lot different than it did when we were all there.
Yeah. I know, Heber, you kind of discussed this in the past, that you were having some maybe creative doubts or kind of interests in maybe pursuing other stuff. Was that did I misremember that?
No, I mean, to a degree. So my answer to that question is it would depend on what my job evolved to be. So for me, I'm always trying to achieve something new for my life resume. So by the time we were let go in 2018, I had already directed 4 feature-length documentaries for CrossFit. And the next year was kind of exciting to do it on my own, independent of that, and see if I could do it and have a product, I hate to call it that, but have a film that's respected as much as the work that we did while we were internal for CrossFit. And it blew that out of the water when we did that. And it gave us a lot of creative freedom. Had I been there at CrossFit, I was definitely comfortable. The biggest and the hardest thing to walk away from, I remember being fired, finding out through the internet, walking through the office and seeing Rory McKernan solo in the CrossFit gym. And he was the first person. It was he and I that had first been hired by Tony. So it was the 3 of us and Leif Edmondson. But Rory and I were really close friends, right? And we still are. But I remember walking through that and being like heartbroken that I wasn't going to be able to share that gym space with Rory anymore and share that work environment. So
and it was right when they had the dopest gym. It was like, we made all this shit and goodbye.
The ironic thing for sure was that for the longest time at HQ, we did not have the best gym.
No.
We had a parking lot container full of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is poetic in some ways, but also like at some, I used to call it the HQ face, when people would be like excited to come to HQ for the first time and see the gym, and they'd walk in the gym and they'd be like, oh yeah. Okay. And we're like, yeah, but there's free coffee and you can have a beer.
Yep.
Like,
there's free Diet Coke upstairs.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah. No, it's kind of circling back to it. It's hard to imagine where it would have been, although a lot of pieces were in place for something really special, I think, with the contracts that are on the table from Facebook for streaming, the level of coverage that CBS wanted wire to wire throughout the entirety of the season. You think, regionals on television, maybe even some open announcements. to me, it was like, it just would have been something very cool. It would have been a team of people that I genuinely cared about and loved, people that I consider family, including the people on this show right now, getting to do something really cool that we're passionate about, be around each other on a regular basis, and have the freedom to be creative in a way that suits us, as well as have some fun doing it. Like, and you know, if I wanted to at 3:00 go down and work out, or at lunchtime play some spike ball, I could do that, because everyone knows that come regionals time, we're going to be there 16 hours out of the day. And it's, that environment is very rare outside of some select startup stuff that you see in the tech space. But yeah, and a lot of people don't ever get that. So I think that's really what I think we just would have continued making really cool stuff.
I always like kind of reminiscing, since we're on here. And I think like a lot of people don't know just like how crazy it was when this thing was first getting started. I mean, I think Tony Budding described it the best. He's like, it just succeeded because of sheer force of will. There's just sometimes like, I don't know how we pulled that off, but we did. What are some of the memories that you guys have of just moments where it's like, what the hell are we doing? And how did we even pull that off? Because I've got like, I'll be honest with you. I want to write a book one day about everything that went on there, just because there's so many good stories. But whatever pops into your head about just like, what are we doing and how did we even pull that off?
Well,
I'd read your book, Sean.
No, for sure. And you were so much. I remember 2012 when they were like, yeah, we're going to do 17 post-produce shows of the ESPN shows of like after the CrossFit games. And like the days were getting down to the wire. And I remember being like, this sound alarm of being like, all right, guys, we got 20 days to do 17 shows. And then the next day I'm like, all right, we got less days now. Like we got 10 days to do 20 shows. And like everybody's like, shut the fuck up, man. We're never going to get this done. But I remember being like, there's no way it's going to happen. We're never going to get this done. And then somehow we'd like pull it off. And then like there was another regionals where they're like, we want a recap video for the men, women, and teams for every event of every regional. And I was like, let me do the math on that.
And it was every heat, right?
40 videos we have to produce in one weekend.
Wasn't it every heat of every event?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like,
that's when that was my first experience. And I was like, I remember those days. I was like, I just kept my mouth shut. I was so happy just to be there. And I'm like, this is nuts. And I remember, Mars, you had that big board outside your office, and we would just cross them off as we went, and we'd voice them into a blanket with a microphone. And then you would cut them together, and then we would just vomit them out on the website. And then it would be like 1 a.m. and Tony would grab Pat and Rory and take them down to the studio, and they would do an update show that took, 3 hours to produce and another hour to edit. And then it would go out at 6 a.m. and competition had already started the next day. And I'm just like, there's got to be a better way to do this, but I'm just squeaky wheel gets the grease. So I'm going to shut up and just read my scripts.
That's when Marston was calling him Eeyore, because he was so negative and like, we can't do this, guys. We can't do this. This is not going to happen. It was like, Marston, shut up. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done.
Anybody want to know how many days we got?
And he was into starting you were in like the production truck when they first, like, was it 2010 when you were in the truck?
Yeah. So I got hired. I wasn't even an employee. I was a contracted employee for the 2010 games. I'd been working with them for all of 2010 and been to, I don't think there was anyone that went to more sectionals or regionals. Yeah. This is pre-open. So before the open, they had sectionals, which was like a local, kind of looks like what the semis look like.
It really is kind of what it is now.
But I had been to a lot of those and made a ton of content that year for CrossFit. And then my job that year was to make a 30-second highlight video of every athlete they played it as they walked out of the tunnel. So like you got Jason Kalipa, and I got clips from him from his regional or maybe the 2009 games experience. And I did that for every athlete that I could. Or I think I did it for every single athlete, and they played all of them. But then like the rest of the weekend, I just sat in the back of the truck as everybody stressed out. And they were live for like every minute of that entire competition 30 minutes before the competition started and 30 minutes after. Like, it was the longest broadcast ever. That was totally unnecessary. Like, they had no thought that, like, hey, maybe we should break for 30 minutes before we go back to the next heat. Like, they just do a different part of this. And the people on camera were like not given breaks. No. Like, it was not.
My shoulder was bleeding, bro. I was carrying the big old production camera, and I was just like dying. 16 hours carrying this thing, and then I remember I see Heber for the first time on like Saturday afternoon. He looked like Dracula coming out of a truck. He's just like pale and just like, I've seen too much. Like,
I remember talking to the TV guys who were involved in that. They're like, we had never been, like Mike Roth, the director, like people who had done other stuff. And they were like, this is the most insane thing I've ever been part of. Like, this is not normal.
Well,
because like a hockey game is 3 hours, you know? It's like, well, let's go home, you know?
But Roth came on the scene in 2011. So this was pre-Mike Roth.
Oh,
and
God,
he came on in 2010. I don't even remember who was directing the 2010 games. But when we had the next time we went live was in October of that year. And it was a USAW, USA Weightlifting, CrossFit combination event where they had a clean and jerk and then a snatch. Maybe snatch and then clean and jerk, and then a CrossFit workout to finish. And we did it in Colorado. And my job was to direct that thing. So I went from being the back seat in the production truck, like just watching and sending clips whenever I could, to then sitting on the front seat going, all right, ready, camera A, take camera A. Okay.
That's not a job you should be doing at that point.
I was so proud of you.
God, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I had never done. So I'm like watching at the 2010 games, trying to figure out how to do this, then getting there and the guy next to me being like, okay, I'll help you out, but like, I need you to start making some calls, and slowly over the weekend, figuring out how to direct a show.
God, good for you.
Wow. And I remember getting to the 2011 season, and Tony talking about like, hey, we want you to maybe do that. And I was like, look, one of Tony's best quotes was, know what you know what you don't know. I was like, hey, I know that, but there's better people that you could hire that would be a better technical director. And that's where Mike Roth came in. So Mike Roth and I was still the director at the 2011 CrossFit Games. Mike was the technical director, but really I was just the storyteller because I understood what the athletes were fighting for, what the methodology meant, who the athletes were. And Mike had no clue.
Yeah.
And with the other side note of that whole thing that just talks to the chaos of it was instantly we landed in LAX months before the games. The first time we've met Mike and Tony, this first face-to-face interaction. And within about 3 minutes, they're talking about dropping acid at the Grateful Dead.
Hell yes.
I was going to ask you how long it took before that subject came up.
What's your favorite Althea? Wicker Park 97.
And I'm this kid out of Utah, like freshly moved to California. I was like, this is the
shorter hair.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Cool, guys. Yeah.
Man, my first...
Heber was always...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Go on. What you have to say, Mars?
Heber was always the guinea pig because like he got offered the job in Santa Cruz before me. And like, I was like, yeah, you go do that. Let me know, report back, and I remember the first year I went there and it was like, we didn't have the big office. It was literally like a room with like 15 people working on top of you and like this much dog hair on the ground. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think I got a place back in Utah. I think I'll just, wait it out. And then, one thing led to another, and we ended up doing those ESPN shows and getting into bigger offices. And I was like, yo, Heaps, how's it going over there? And he was like, it's building this media team. I think you should come down. And I was just like, all right. So there was a lot of those where, him working in the truck and everything and doing the production. And I was always just like, how's it going, buddy? It's my little guinea pig. And he always, he always crushed it and was able to make the most of the situation and keep a level head. And so we eventually, he started doing documentaries like with Froning. And I was like, how's it going, buddy? Like once again. And then, the very next year I was like, I think I need to get out of this broadcast stuff. I would much rather do, long form storytelling with you. And then, from that day on, it was almost like we worked together every day. Yeah. So here's to my guinea pig.
2012 was my first experience with that, like every video of every heat of every event. And I was like, this is crazy. And then we all went to the Central East, I remember, and that was our first broadcast that we did to prepare for the games, because the games were going to be on ESPN3, which was their streaming thing at the time. And we thought that was
the
a big
Ocho.
deal. Yeah. And I remember like showing up there and they had everybody. They were trying out anybody who could like talk, be on camera. And I just kept thinking to myself, there's no way this is going to work. Like these guys don't know how is this going to work? And I think it's just a testament to the type of people that, even though Tony didn't bring in like a lot of hardcore sports media people, he brought people in who like worked hard and figured it out. And that's like,
for sure.
There's so many. I try to think of any other team that I have been part of where that would have been achieved, and I can't think of one. And I've worked with a lot of great, like really talented people, but there was just something about that group, and you two and Julian and Rory and everybody that we had back there, they just made it happen, and it shouldn't have worked. It's like this plane should not fly. It is defying physics, but it worked. And it was like really cool to see that. And that's like you said, Mars, we got 6 days to do 10 shows and you guys did it. And everyone just made it happen. And we were almost kind of our own worst enemies in that. It's like, okay, well, you can pull this off now. We're going to do more in less time. And it's like, oh crap, really? How are we going to make that work? And you guys did. And it was, you always wish that someone would come and tell you like, hey, you're in the good old days. These are the good old days. I wish someone had told me that then, because there were so many, I just marveled every day at the amount of talent that was walking around that place, and just the amount, and not only that, but it was mixed with the ability to work really hard. And that's sometimes rare. And you guys,
I kind of I look back at it almost like second college, where you're like, man, those are the good days.
Yeah.
Second. Yeah, it is. I mean, it was
because it was like I spent my whole 20s there doing that, and then basically from there on, I turned 30 and I was like, I'm gonna go out into the real world now, boys.
You mean we can't ride gigantic big wheel scooters around the office and crash them into bushes like every day? Oh, okay.
All right.
Pack of 30 dogs go running by your.
I know, right?
I think one of those was mine.
Yeah, I could literally skateboard to your office from mine to go ask you a question for something.
Yeah,
but
So I got one more reminiscing story, and then we'll put a ribbon on this thing. But what's your favorite Pat Sherwood story? Because God, that guy was just a rare treat to be around.
Oh gosh. Okay, so he's going on the motorcycle. I think I still have the video. I feel bad pulling it up. He had planned this trip with Ian. Ian Whitmer is a legend, and I don't think I want to give him credit, because he and Mariah, they don't get enough credit for what they did for CrossFit in 2025. They're still currently doing. The content they're putting out is awesome. They're doing so much hard work. But anyways, Ian had agreed to go document Pat as he rode a motorcycle. Did they start in Montana? They rode from Montana.
Yeah, they did. It was after the affiliate.
Big Sky.
After the affiliate gathering, all the way down to the southern tip of South America was like the plan, right? And we're in Montana, and Pat and I had become really close friends over the 3 years of when I had moved there, and he had moved in at the same time. And he was kind of a third wheel to my wife, Jenna, and I, as we would go out on weekends and hang out. So he pulls me aside one night at the affiliate gathering, and he goes, "Hey man, so I'm about to leave for a long time. I could die on this. Do you mind if I give you a video, Will, that you can share if something goes wrong?" And I was like, "Sure, dude." So he put a video on my phone.
What?
And in case anything bad happened.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I think I finally deleted it because I was like, he's safe. He's got a beautiful family now.
Wow.
That was a very unique Pat Sherwood experience that no one else really knows about.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
I remember when he first told us about that trip, he came and asked me, he's like, "Do you have interest? Would you want to make a video about this?" And I was like, "Wait, what are you doing? You're going how far? Into where? Latin America? How far? All the way down?" And I was like, "I'm not your guy, dude. You see that guy over there with those banana peel shoes? You get that guy. That guy will go with you. And Ian crushed it. Ian was the best on that trip.
That was a great bit. Like if you guys can find it on YouTube, it's a great series.
Their stories from that and were awesome. He also approached me too. He goes, "Hey, do you know how to ride a motorcycle?" And I'm like, "I rode dirt bikes and stuff growing up, but I don't actively ride a motorcycle." He goes, "Because I could use someone that and he just kind of says that with like his kind of smile, and I looked at it, I just like Pat.
No.
He killed me. And he started cackling after that.
So
but
great.
Yeah. Well,
oh man. It's funny. Sean, what's your favorite Sherwood story?
I mean, I have so many. I just remember all the times
told
just
a bunch on
laughing. And I guess the one, the one that got me, and it was during the games, and because Pat was always good for like a one-liner or something, and he'd always he'd just say the right thing at the right time and make everybody crack up. And we were in the green room at the CrossFit Games. This is 2012. This was the first year I've done it. Like I was like, so I don't want to say on edge, but I was so like, I have to be perfect. I'm not going to screw this up. Like this is finally like the thing I want to do. And so I was kind of, I don't want to say uptight, but I was not relaxed. And we had done the Pendleton event. And I don't know if you remember, like there was Brian Diaz, who was like not the best swimmer and who was like hanging off a jet ski for a long time, to keep himself safe. And, it wasn't at the time, it wasn't funny, but it was what he had to do to get through the swim portion. And I remember we were getting ready I was in the green room, which is like, it was in between the soccer stadium and it was actually a box seat in the soccer stadium. And I was in there and Pat was in there with some other people of the media team. I don't remember who, but we're running highlights. I think we were running a desk show or something. We were running highlights, getting ready for the next event. And I was on my way to the tennis stadium to call it. And I don't know, this isn't like super funny now when you retell it, but given how I was feeling and just how on edge I was, it's what I needed to hear. And Pat just like, they show Brian Diaz, from the recap episode who's in this heat. And Pat goes, Brian Diaz, winner of the jet ski touch. And I laughed for like 20 minutes. I just laughed like walking out of the building. I laughed on my way to the booth. I would intermittently laugh while I was in the booth. I don't know what it was about, but it was just like, that was the first real dose of the Sherwoodisms that I got. And he did that so many times to us, like on the desk, behind the scenes where we would, and he'd do it right before we'd come on air and we'd all be laughing and we'd have to like really compose ourselves for a live show. But he just had a good way of like cutting through the tension and relaxing you. And that was the first experience I had with it.
That's his superpower. Marston, I don't know if you ended up doing this one, but the 20 or the 20 rounder of the thrusters and run to the 200 meter and back, or the 150 mark and back that we did that one day.
The curb.
So context, Pat would often program workouts for people we were his guinea pigs, and he loves programming. So he even on his motorcycle trip, he would send us workouts. And so this was sent to us from the motorcycle trip.
Mm-hmm. And it was 20 rounds of like 5 thrusters.
No, it was like 15 thrusters, 200 meter light thrusters, 75 pounds.
Yeah. And it was like on the minute for every 2 minutes for 20 rounds or something like that.
20 rounds, it was 40 minutes of thrusters and running.
Yeah. And it crushed everybody. And he came back and he's like, so how was that? And we're like, oh my God, it was awful. Are you going to do it? And he's like, oh, absolutely not. I'll never.
Oh yeah. No, why would I do that?
He's like, but I'm glad you tried it. And I just remember that was one of the most exhausted I've ever been in my life. But my favorite Sherwood one-liner was something he didn't even say. He used to try and pass me notes to make me laugh on air. And he caught me clean with right as I went to go check my note for as we're coming off of, I double checked a stat while I'm covered up by B-roll. And I go to check it to look up because I know I'm going to be back on camera. And Pat had put a single piece of ripped yellow paper that said honky tonk badonkadonk on it because he had just gotten into country music and he loved that song. And so I stopped and I immediately just went, and I was like, I can't say anything right now. And Pat like slaps me to break the tension. And he goes, you got it. And like, we kept rolling with it live, but that was the only time he almost got me to break on air. And afterwards, we had a really good laugh about that one because it was just the most random thing, and all of them seem innocuous when you tell them back, but in the moment they just pierce so cleanly that it's really hard to describe. But that was one of the charms of the place, right?
Well, that's the charm of like, it's hard to understand from the outside looking in the amount of pressure that goes into producing that much content or being live on camera or having the timelines and deadlines that are needed, because it gets like the most stressful place I've ever been is inside of a production truck. Like I remember describing it to someone with like, I think the sound guy had Tourette's because I didn't hear a single non-curse word come out of his mouth for 4 hours.
We're so fucked.
Yeah, Pat was a perfect person who had been in some high stress positions before and understood like how to kind of corral a team and smooth the edges with some humor.
Yeah, he always like brought levity to everything, you know, like no matter how stressed out it was, it always seemed like Pat was keeping his cool, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, he also, was it him that he always say like, I'm not being shot at? He had like
I'm okay. Yeah, he's like, you're being shot at or you're not. Like if you're not being shot at, you're gonna be fine. I was like, that's a really good way to look at things.
Yeah.
So well, okay. So for people who don't, I don't know why they wouldn't already know where they can find you guys, but where can people find the Buttery Bros?
Find us on Buttery Bros on YouTube, Buttery Bros on Instagram. We have a TikTok. We don't really use that often, but maybe we'll start posting there soon. But really the best place to see the most fleshed out content you can is on our YouTube page.
Next video coming out. When's that going to drop?
Ooh, what is it?
Our next video is we were in
we got some bangers.
Yeah, we were in Adidas in Germany, so we got like a lactic threshold test coming out, and then we just did the world's toughest mile with Eric Hinman, where you do burpee broad jumps for 400 meters, then you do lunges for 400 meters, then you do a bear crawl for 400 meters, and then you run for 400 meters. So it was like, talk about a challenge against your boys, and there was like a bunch of lead changes, and it's going to be a fun one. We're stoked to put that one together. Cool. And then we got a bunch of shoots internationally, and we're going to be all over the place.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have one quick question. If you had a bucket list episode that you could
that's
make,
a good one,
where it's like there's an adventure or something that you're like, I money, time, whatever is unlimited, what would you guys be doing?
You guys are all welcome to come. It's the Taco Bell 50K.
Yeah, we're doing it in October. You guys want you in?
What? Are you guys really?
Tell us more.
Yeah, every 5K you have to stop and eat a Taco Bell item. It's an unsanctioned race. We're doing it. It's free to sign up. It's in Colorado if you guys want to come join us.
I feel like every college kid's dream right here.
Cinnamon twist.
Yeah.
I did this 20 years ago every Sunday.
Where is this?
We live in your college. It happens in Colorado. But what's Denver. Funny is like I've been approached. I got hit up by someone out of Texas doing it the same weekend there.
Oh wow.
Okay, so there's events of this race that are happening. That's kind of a joke. I mean, for us, my favorite episodes are going to really remote, fun locations, doing some sort of physical challenge that's going to burn a core memory into your mind forever, and doing it with your closest friends. So Rim to Rim is a bucket list one for us. One that we've always talked about that we've never been able to pull off is some sort of thing in Lake Powell, which is, this Rim to Rim will be the closest thing you can do. For those that don't know, Lake Powell is literally just north of the Grand Canyon. So it's still part of the Grand Canyon, and it's full of water and it's beautiful. It's where I used to go vacation as a little kid. And there's nothing more fun than being with your friends on a boat in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, just living.
Nice.
And so if we can do some sort of episode there, that would be my bucket list episode.
I also want to run with the bulls. I think running with the bulls would be pretty good.
Need to do that.
I could see you guys doing that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
just show up and have a red outfit for Julian.
You'd have to put like a little bull, but dress him as a bull. Actually, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
He is a bull.
Yeah, he is.
That would be amazing.
Well, we'll put the finishing touches on here. You guys are welcome to hang out, but I just want to congratulate you both on all your success and everything. Like you've been a bright spot in this community. It's CrossFit and beyond, in the fitness community in general, for a long time, and I hope this continues for you. And yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you guys. Yeah, and I know we still will.
Yeah, you too.
You guys are you're first class, total pros, man.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just like a goodbye for now.
This is an indefinite break.
Back.
Indefinite. Yeah, we as we explained last week, and this is mostly because of me. there's just some things that I have to deal with. Like I have my mom I'm spending time now between two cities to kind of help deal with her. I've got some other things going on in my life that need to get sorted out. And it's just something had to give. And I don't like doing something like this that I can't dedicate the full amount of effort and the full intention that I think it deserves. I think that's a disservice to, Tommy and Lauren and then our audience as well. So it's like, we got to take a break. Let's figure some stuff out. And then when the time is right, then maybe we can pick back up and do something with this.
Well, when you kick it back up, we got to be your guest.
Yeah, for sure. This is absolutely. We'll bring
run it back.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for all you've done for us, for the community.
Thanks, man.
Like I've worked very closely with all of you guys for years. Lauren, we haven't worked together officially, but I see your grind. I see you out there at events, working your butt off, doing everything you possibly can to tell as many possible stories as you can. Like it's really cool to see all the passion and excitement you guys have. And that's always inspired me. So thank you guys for all you've done for us and for the community at large.
Appreciate it, man. It means a lot. Thanks.
See that? Media supporting media.
That's right. That's right. Tom, you said you have PRs and no reps.
Brought us all together, and I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna maybe try and throw out one last PR or no rep before we take our break, if anybody has any. So Marston, Heber, we do like a PRs no rep of the week, basically like good thing, bad thing, through the vein of our normal terminology of a PR and a no rep. So what's like a big win or something cool you saw, or a no rep where it's like I'm gonna no rep.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Mayhem Media crew this last week.
They crushed it.
Yeah, it's a good PR. It's a good PR.
Not only like the coverage you guys did, Sean. Like, don't think that I'm not talking about you too, because I know that it was probably not the budget they've had in the past for media. Just knowing some of the backstory, but the lead up and storytelling they did, explaining what the workouts were, telling the history of the barn. I had major FOMO and nostalgia watching that. That really took me back to filming Froning. I think they crushed it. They did such an awesome job, and I was fired up in following the competition as a result of seeing what they did to promote and tell about it. And I don't see a whole lot of other events doing that, but they've just got a whole media team, and that shows the importance of storytelling in media, because I was invested in what happened at Mayhem as a result of the content they had building up to it and post as well.
And then Paige Powers, bro, like she just had a kid, took last year and comes back and wins the whole thing. That's a PR right there.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like, I did not see Paige Powers, Paige Powers Automotive, but I guess she's Rogers now, right?
Yeah, Paige Rogers. Paige Powers Rogers.
Yeah.
She's a great comeback story. Yeah.
Tommy, you got one? You got a PR? Let's don't do no reps. Let's do PRs.
Yeah, no reps. We'll end on a high note. Lauren, do you got one? I had one, and I it's like escaping my mind now from all this nostalgia that we had. Oh my gosh, it's crushing me.
My biggest PR, and especially because this is, our last show for now, is the first time I knew Tommy because of Morning Chalk Up, but the first time that I think I met all of you guys was the year at the games when everybody had their campers in Madison, the tornado year. And I just remember seeing Hebes and Mars at all hours of the night inside their camper. They're still up editing. It was like 1 a.m, 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. Oh my God, what time's the alarm going off to start the next day? Like, y'all never sleep, just churning out the content. And it just, to me, that was kind of the start to, wow, look at all of these other really awesome creators that are also really cool people to hang out with. So my PR is the fact that we've all been able to, meet through this ecosystem, and, whether this is our final episode for now or whatever, I know that we'll still be in the space and have other times where we'll catch up and still be able to do cool things.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Dang, I feel bad because I completely blanking. I had one too. But hey, I'll PR good times with friends, because
there you go.
Hebes and Mars will get to see you in a couple days.
Nice.
All right. See you in London, buddy.
All right. Yeah, you guys have a great time, man. Safe travels. And that's going to do it. Again, this is not goodbye. It's a see you later. We just got to put a pause on some things, and we'll still be around. I'm planning on doing more events. Heber and Mars are doing events. Tommy's going to be doing events. Lauren's going to be around. So we'll still be part of this thing and hope and look. And I am there's part of me that does have some genuine optimism about what the future holds. So.
And I do want to say thank you to everyone that has listened since day one.
Yes.
We do have some people on Patreon, on people that have have been patrons for a little while, dropped off, come back regardless. People that have been listening literally since the first episode. People that have come up to us and said, "Hey, I remember the State of the CrossFit Games as your first episode. I remember the next one right after with you and the boys," and have shown some genuine appreciation and have supported us for a long time. Hebes and Mars, I said this to Sean on our last Q&A, that we've now been working just as long after HQ as we had been at that point. At least I have, and to think that we've been able to do this that long is certainly something special. So for the people that have supported us along the way, hopefully we can make the most of this break and eventually get back to making cool stuff again. So, yeah. All
right.
The new beginnings.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. On that note, guys, thanks so much, man. And best of luck. Keep doing what you're doing. It's just always fun, and I think if you can like entertain people, educate them and make them laugh at the same time, that's a win. And you guys have continued to do that. So without any further ado, for Tommy Marquez, Lauren Khalil, and the Buttery Bros, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other and be better.
Like a kiss at the start of a first date. If it's good, I don't want to wait. When the feeling's right, I'm taking everything.